What started out as a radio program then turned into a series of films and eventually into a short-lived television sitcom, early days of television. Fibber McGee and Molly owed a large part of his success on a running gag. And that gag was Fibber McGee's closet. The closet was a repository of all sorts of things. McGee was the precursor of today's hoarder, although in a tightly controlled space. I mean, amazing what he could cram in there. And for decades, mothers chided their children to clean up their rooms and to not hide it all in Fibber McGee's closet. Sadly, far too many mothers, when they went to inspect the room, found things hidden, not just in the closet, which was indeed packed to the gills, but also stashed under the bed, behind the headboard if there was such flat things you could do. Everywhere. It was squirreled away. Retribution was waiting. But the lingering question that always stuck with me, why did she have to look in the closet in the first place? I mean, it was out of sight, it was out of mind. And to look under the bed, I mean, come on. But that's mother's. And mine was just like every other one. She would check everywhere. But she also would say, don't have a closet like Fibber McGee. Now, take a minute and think. Isn't that exactly what a lot of people do with their life? I mean, there's a clear recognition of the necessity to get things cleaned up, get things in order. But for the most part, they only want to do a superficial job. You know, just get it out of sight, out of mind. I'll squirrel it away somewhere. And so I'll stuff it and cram it, what others don't need to see, into a metaphorical closet that I create in my life, where all my shortcomings and all my indiscretions and, dare we even say, sins are hidden. Hidden under the guise of rationalization and finger pointing for indiscretions. Oh, we were good at that as kids, weren't we? Not my fault. Bob made me do it. Not my fault. Susan made me do it. No, couldn't be me. No. The problem with such thinking is that, well, as the writer of Hebrews points out, there is no creature hidden from his sight, but all things are open and laid bare to the eyes of him with whom we have to deal. There's really no place to hide and squirrel things away, because you can't. It's all in the sight of God. The issue of looking good on the outside while the inside is this cacophony of imprudence is addressed by Jesus as he dealt with the Pharisees in the 23rd chapter of the book of Matthew. He says, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! For you clean the outside of the cup and of the dish, but inside they are full of robbery and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and the dish, so that the outside of it may become clean also. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like whitewashed tombs, which on the outside appear beautiful, but inside they are full of dead man's bones and all uncleanliness. Even so you too outwardly appear righteous to men, but inwardly you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness." Now it's found in verses 25 down through 28 there of the 23rd chapter of Matthew. And when I read that, I'm reminded of the opulence, if you would, of Forest Lawn in Glendale, the mausoleum. Beautiful. But then when you get to thinking about it, what is it? It is a repository. It is a place where you put the dead and the decaying. And that's what's in the depths of it. No matter what you do, how you try to mask it, that's it. And that's what Jesus is saying as well. He's saying you've got to look inside. And is that what we do? So we just try to hide everything inside. Man can't see it. It's all right. Well, the psalmist in the 139th Psalm advises all to welcome the cleansing inspection of God. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxieties, and see if there are any wicked ways in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Now, what I should have done as a kid, rather than argue with my mom, is when she would come in and find what I had done, you didn't do a good job, you tried to hide this, and what's this doing back here? Get it down from there. I should have said something like, you know what, Mom, you're right. And I'm glad you pointed it out to me. And that going in the future, it's going to make me a better person. Now, I have used that line several times. And if I would have done it as a kid, I would have been being a Weisenheimer. But as I've gotten older and people point things out to me, I mean it sincerely. Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate it. It will make me a better person in the future. Now, wouldn't it be great if all would embrace the sentimentality expressed by the psalmist in the 139th Psalm that we looked at those couple of verses? That we might embrace that mindset, cling on to it, moving behind a mere shuffling and hiding things in the inner closet of our being. Isn't it time to set things in order with respect to life? It's a sure sign of spiritual immaturity to resort to employing such tactics as Fibber McGee's closet, when it all comes to the openness God seeks from each one of us. We need that openness. At some point, all things are going to be brought to light.